Hi everyone, I'm True Soul, and this is another Star Wars Black Series collection update video. So yeah guys, I'm a little more excited about this update video as compared to my last one. I got quite a bit of action figures that I've been meaning to get for quite a long time now. So let's just go ahead and go down the line. I got the Star Wars Black Series Koska Reeves. I got the Last Jedi Kylo Ren, which that's a much older figure. I also got the Revenge of the Sith Obi Wan and the 501st Clone Trooper that were both from the latest archive wave. And I also got Star Wars Black Series tech from the Bad Batch. I actually got this from my brother who goes by Kylo Wolf here on YouTube. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into all these figures and then put them up on my shelf. So let's go ahead and get started with Koska Reeves. Now when it comes to the Koska Reeves, in terms of like the actual body, I'm pretty sure it's the same exact body if you have the Bo-Katan, which isn't a bad thing. What I really like about Koska Reeves is the color scheme. I like the more intense blue that she has on. I just think blue Mandalorians are probably my favorite color for Mandalorian armor, so definitely gonna have to get that Death Watch Mandalorian when he comes out. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about Koska Reeves here. I actually heard that the outfit wasn't completely accurate to how it looks in the show, but I'm digging it. I really like it a lot. And of course, just like Bo-Katan, she has the removable helmet to reveal Sasha Banks. I mean, Koska. But yeah, guys, so pretty much the same deal with the Bo-Katan. She does have the removable jetpack you can pop in and off, which is pretty easy there. One thing that I found a little interesting is she does come with two blasters here. She comes with two blasters, but she only has a holster for one of them, so I'm just pretty much holding on to the second one, you know, in case I want to give some random Star Wars character a blaster, which I can't remember if she had two in the show. I think she like had two, but she only like was shooting like with one of them. Don't know why, but hey, really digging the face sculpt. I think Black Series, for the most part, other than, you know, that kind of unnatural glossiness, they do a pretty good job with the facial features on like their action figures. I know some characters look kind of weird in action figure form, but this Koska Reeves is looking pretty cool. I'm not going to go into too much depth since this is not a review video, this is a collection update video. So let's go ahead and move on to the next figure. And next up, guys, is the Last Jedi Kylo Ren. I've been meaning to get this Kylo Ren for a while now, because I did have the Force Awakens Kylo Ren. I ended up getting rid of him only because I preferred the Kylo Ren that was actually wearing a mask, which is the Starkiller base Kylo Ren that I have. But I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't get this guy sooner. The face sculpt on this Kylo Ren looks way better than that initial Kylo Ren that I had. Almost makes me wish I kept it so I could you know, pop the head off this and put it on that one. I think that would have looked pretty cool. Now I'm not really digging this just giant chunk of plastic cape that can stand up by itself. For the most part, I'm probably not going to be displaying Kylo Ren with this on. Probably mostly going to be displaying him like this. I kind of wish that the cape was kind of like a more cloth material, kind of like how Dooku's cape was. But not to get off topic a little too much, I actually got this Kylo Ren primarily because there's a stop motion that I have in the works, and I quite literally needed a Kylo Ren that looked like this in order to do it. For those of you who watch Toy Tournament, I have a new one of those coming up, so that'll be very interesting. Not to ramble into that too much, but I really do like the articulation on this Kylo Ren. Has a really decent bend in the arm. It's a single joint, but it gets a pretty good ways up there. Now, one thing that I'm not too fond of is the neck articulation. He can look a pretty good ways down, not too much up with this hinge in the neck. I feel like it could be a little bit better, and it makes it kind of annoying to put him in certain poses. So all around, a pretty decent figure. Kind of wish I got him a little sooner, even though he actually wasn't that expensive. I got him off of eBay, guys, and it's kind of weird how the sequel trilogy action figures are, you know, being viewed now. Either they're really cheap or they're really expensive, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Black Series isn't really making sequel trilogy stuff as much anymore, if at all. But a really nice figure, and I'm probably going to end up putting him on that Snoke throne in my sequel shelf. So let's go ahead and move on to the next figure. And here we have the Revenge of the Sith Obi Wan Kenobi. Now this is one of the action figures that came out like way back when Star Black Series was kind of, you know, in its younger years. They used to make those like orange and black boxes, and I think Obi-Wan came in one of those. But of course, time went by, he started getting more pricey, so I ended up never getting one. So I was really, you know, crossing my fingers that eventually we would get this Obi-Wan in the archive line, and here he is. And I gotta say, I really like this new face sculpt that they have on this Obi-Wan as compared to the old Obi-Wan. Because I actually brought my brother one of those older Obi-Wans. Don't know why I didn't buy one for myself, but it's probably better that I didn't, because this one, in terms of like the face sculpt, is way better. I don't know if I like it more than the Clone Armor Obi-Wan's face sculpt, because I feel like that one, the hair is a little bit more fluffy on that one. I kind of like that one a little bit more, but I don't think I'm going to be trying to head swap. I think I'll just go ahead and keep this head as is. But I feel like when it comes to the articulation, this Obi-Wan is pretty decent. The only real problem that I have is with the arm articulation, and it feels kind of stiff. I know a lot of the Jedi don't really have extremely good arm articulation, but one Jedi who I think has pretty decent arm articulation is the Episode 1 Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I say that because, as you can see, he can actually hold his lightsaber with both hands, and for me it is very difficult to get this Episode 3 Obi-Wan in a pose where he's actually holding the lightsaber with both hands, and that's due to his arm articulation not being as good as the Episode 1 Obi-Wan. So for the most part, they really kept the action figure the same, which I do understand, since Archive line is really just them re-releasing a figure that they already made. But just like how they did a rework with the face, I kind of wish they did a rework with the articulation, because it's kind of hard to get Obi-Wan into any actually cool poses because the arm articulation is limited. But in terms of having this Obi-Wan up on the shelf, always, you know, a pleasure to have another Revenge of the Sith action figure. Just any prequel action figure for that matter. I'm actually a little tired of getting clones. I want more original, you know, prequel characters. But not to ramble, speaking of clones, let's go ahead and get into our next figure, which is the 501st Clone Trooper. Now, I know I'm going to sound like a little bit of a hypocrite because I just said that I want them to stop making clones and make actual prequel characters, but the 501st, as probably some of you also feel, the 501st is my favorite clone legion. So this clone is probably going to be one of the only ones that I actually army build. I did buy 2, and I pre-ordered 2 more that are going to be coming at some point. But this clone trooper originally came in this clone 4-pack, which I ended up never getting. And I was always mad about that, because you know, the 501st Clone Trooper, especially now, is a very popular clone trooper, and they only, you know, released him for some special exclusive 4-pack. So I'm glad that they finally came to their senses and decided to re-release it. I really like the, you know, detailing of like the kind of like a battle damaged armor, or mostly just like dirty armor. I do wish they made a couple of clean ones, because when I start army build, I'm just gonna have an army of dirty clones. But this clone trooper body is on the original clone trooper body with the double jointed arms. As you guys know, the newer clone trooper bodies have the single joints, which I do kind of like. It helps put them in some slightly better poses. The only problem with the newer clones, and in fact, let me go grab a new clone to show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, the newer clones kind of feel like they have that cartoon Clone Wars proportions. They're a little bit more on the slimmer side, and you know, that's probably the only thing I don't really care a whole lot for, because the old body actually looks a little bit more like it came from the movie. The newer body, you know, it looks more like it came from the cartoon. So I'd really like it if maybe they made some more clones with kind of like this movie body, but maybe with, you know, single joints to get a better bend on the arm, because the articulation in the newer bodies is definitely better. I just kind of like the general look of the old ones more than the new ones. But enough rambling about that. We have one more clone for today, guys. Tech from the Bad Batch. Now, my brother went to Walmart one day, and he saw this guy and thought of me and picked it up for me. So really appreciate that. This is actually the first member of the Bad Batch that I have. I still haven't gotten around to buying Hunter and them. I should probably go ahead and do that before they get really pricey, and then I'm left with just Tech, which is probably one of my least favorite guys in terms of character, but he's not one of my least favorite in terms of character design. One thing I always liked about Tech is his armor was not, you know, it was a lot more unique looking. In fact, it didn't really look a whole lot like clone armor in any sense, like regular clone trooper or Bad Batch wise. So I always thought that was kind of interesting, and I feel like his outfit also helps give him a little bit more articulation than maybe the average clone trooper would have. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that on his goggles, on the helmet, they were colored in, which is different than how you see him in the show, because you can actually see his eyes in there. What you see on this eye right here is my attempt at cutting that out, and I failed horribly. So I decided to not try to do that and do something else, and I'm going to show you guys that in a minute. I'm going to pop off Tech's helmet here, which that's another thing I like about, I think with all the members of Bad Batch you can take their helmets off. So here we have Tech, and what I did was I used to have a Chewbacca action figure from the Solo movie, but I kept his goggles, and I was literally saving them for the day that I would eventually get a Tech and I could put them on. Now they do look a little goofy, you might have to move them around a little bit, but I actually think that that works for the character, giving him some sort of goggles, you know, to put, you know, all over his eyes when you take the helmet off. I don't know why they didn't think about doing that, but I think it looks pretty good for, you know, just having him on the shelf when he has his helmet off. So I thought that was a pretty clever idea, if I do say so myself. I also like the fact that this Tech, he comes with like a lot of like little, I guess like little gadgets and tools. Some of them don't really look like they would fit in his hand. That's why I decided to kind of just keep them in, you know, their little pockets and stuff. He also came with one little blaster, which I think it's kind of funny because even though I'm pretty sure Tech shot his blaster, when I think of Tech, I don't really think of him shooting weapons. On top of that, there's no holster for you to put this blaster in, which is why I normally just don't display Tech with it. I also like his little pack that he has on his back, which is pretty easy to put on and off, and I like the shape of the socket that you put in it. It makes it a little bit more sturdy, as opposed to a circle where, you know, you're probably turning it all around and getting all, you know, weird looking and stuff like that. But definitely really digging this Tech, and I really need to get the rest of the Bad Batch. Well guys, those are all my new action figures that I have for my collection. This was a pretty good group of figures to collect. I think I like this group a lot better than my previous video, which was, you know, mostly, you know, some sequel guys and a couple of side characters like that. If I had to say which one was my favorite out of these 5, it's actually kind of hard, because I definitely want to give it to the 501st Trooper because he's one of the figures that I've been wanting to get the most. But in terms of like uniqueness, I really like this Tech. So I'm really torn between the 2 clones, which the 2 clones that I keep telling Hasbro to stop just making clones. Such a hypocrite, guys. I do love clones, don't get me wrong. I don't want you guys to completely stop making clones. I just want more actual prequel characters that you guys haven't made yet. That would be nice. But enough rambling. Let's go ahead and put these guys on the shelf. Alright guys, I got Coscareeves on my Mandalorian shelf. Guys, when I say that I'm slowly but surely filling up this shelf, it is so slow. I really need to go ahead and get Moff Gideon, probably get that Flame Trooper, and not too long ago I pre-ordered the Dark Trooper, so I'm really looking forward to getting him on this shelf as well. But really nice little setup here for the Mandalorian, and yeah, I'm very ready to see what they make next. And here we have Kylo Ren on my sequel shelf. I decided to keep Snoke on the throne for now, at least. But I'm really noticing there's a very unfair ratio of villain slash first order to good guys. Really need to go ahead and get some resistance troopers before they end up being like $100. But really proud of the progress that I'm making with my sequel shelf. Probably one of my smallest shelves before the Mandalorian shelf. In fact, speaking of small shelves, let's go take a trip up here to my clone shelf, where I put Tech, and I also put one of the 501st clones. I put the other one on my prequel shelf. Clone shelf's also pretty small, but that's just because most of my pre-orders haven't come yet. I'm gonna be getting some clone jet troopers. I'm supposed to be getting that Bara clone trooper. I really want to get that clone pilot that they made. Well, of course, he's a pretty penny now because I can't find him in stores, but we'll get there. And now, last but not least, let's move over to my prequel shelf. I did a little bit of rearranging. I put mostly all the clones on the second, I don't really know what you call it, but I put them on like the second step up. So I got the Revenge of the Sith Obi Wan, and right behind him I got one of my 501st clone troopers. I'm definitely going to be army building those guys. But you know who they need to put in the archive line? They need to put these guys over here. These 212 clone troopers in the archive line. I know that they came out with a Walgreens exclusive 212. I don't know why they keep making army builders exclusive. That's annoying. But I think that new exclusive is more based off of the newer clone body, like how you see them in the Clone Wars show. I kind of need some more that look like this from the movie, so they can, you know, run around with Commander Cody. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Really looking forward to what comes next. I just wish my pre-orders would, stop dragging their feet and go ahead and get here. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Comment down below if you have any of these figures. What do you think about them? And be sure to follow me on my Instagram as I'll stay updated on our plans to upload a video, as well as see exclusive photos like of these guys here that you would not see in my videos. Alright guys, until then, be sure to like, subscribe, and go to my channel to check out other videos. Catch you later.